Okay, quick. 2 questions. The first one, 2x squared minus 4x minus 30. Simplify that. There's 2 methods. Everyone hear that? There's 2 methods for solving this problem. I've used the 2 different methods, and I'm going to show you how. These are the step-by-step instructions for solving problems like this. Step 1, find AC. What does that mean? It means that from this expression, 2x squared minus 4x minus 30, we have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. What are those? The A is the coefficient of x squared. The B is the coefficient of x. And the C is the constant, negative 30. So step 1 tells us to multiply A by A times C. Step 2, find what B is. Make sure you know what B is. Step 3, make a table showing, and this is what you want the table to show, 2 numbers that will multiply to give you AC, and when you add them together, they will give you your B. You're looking for 2 numbers, they're very special, because they will give you your AC, and when you add them together, they will give you B. So that's what that table is for. And then step 4, rewrite the expression or the equation, put in those 2 numbers now that you found. So let's go ahead and step to this side and see step-by-step detail for solving this problem. Let's say you choose to use method 1, which is that you simply leave it the way it is, 2x squared minus 4x minus 30. There's nothing wrong with that. You can simply write A is equal to 2, B is equal to negative 4, and C is equal to negative 30. Everyone see A, B, and C? That's what we chose to use for method 1. We left the expression the way it is, and we solve it. It's not that one of them is harder than the other, it's just that sometimes it's easier to simplify using method 2. But let's use method 1 to solve it, and then I'll show you method 2. Using method 1, A is 2, B is minus 4, and C is negative 30. Our AC will be 2 times negative 30, and that's equal to negative 60. Our B is negative 4. Everyone see that? A, B, and C. Do you see how I get my A, B, and C? Are there any questions so far? Now, step 3. I write out 2 numbers that when I multiply them together, they give me AC. 10 times negative 6 will give me negative 60. Negative 10 times 6 will give me negative 60. 5 times negative 12 will give me negative 60. But what I want is that I want to be able to add the 2 numbers, and then they give me B. So what I do now is to add them. So 10 minus 6 will give me 4. Negative 10 plus 6 will give me minus 4. And 5 minus 12 will give me negative 7. B is not negative 7. B is not 4. B is negative 4. Remember, that's what we want. B is negative 4. Now, the next step is to write down what I've found. So 2x squared, and then instead of writing negative 4x, which is my B, I now write the 2 numbers that I found that will give me B if I add them together. And those are negative 10 and plus 6. So 2x squared minus 10x plus 6x minus 30. That is now my new expression. I go ahead and factorize by grouping. And what that means is that I take the first 2 terms, 2x squared and negative 10x, find what is common in both of them, and take it out. 2x squared and 10x. What is common in 2x squared and 10x? Go ahead. What is common? 2x. Okay? We can take out a 2x. If we take out a 2x, if we want to rewrite what we now have, it wouldn't be 2x squared minus 10x again. We would only have the things that didn't come out with the 2x. So essentially, what we're doing, we're going to step to this side for a second. Let me show you what we're doing. When we say 2x squared minus 10x, and I tell you to take out what is common, you said 2x was common. Now I have to open a bracket and write what is left in the bracket. What I'm doing is, when I take out 2x, the same thing, this is what it means. 2x squared divided by 2x. So that the x goes into this and it gives me 1x, and the 2's cancel. That means that right here, I would have only 1x left. Because now, if I was to say 2x times x, it should give me 2x squared. Back to where I started. The same thing with the negative 10x. What you're doing is you're saying negative 10x divided by 2x. The x will cancel out, and the 2 goes into 10 5 times. So we get a negative 5. So this leaves me with negative 5. So 2x can now be 2x squared minus 10x can be rewritten as 2x into x minus 5. So let's step over here and finish this up. So that's where I got the x minus 5 from. I did the same thing for the 6x minus 30. So 6x minus 30 What is common in between 6x and 30? The 6, correct? And so I take out the 6 and it becomes x minus 5. This then goes into this form. That's the same thing. I use the same method to solve that. So now, both terms, 2x into x minus 5 and 6 into x minus 5, have something in common. And that's x minus 5, right? So I take out the x minus 5 and it becomes its own bracket. It's one bracket. And the only thing left is 2x plus 6. That's all that is left. Does that make sense? That's method 1. Yes. Now method 2. This is method 2. I took out the 2 from the beginning so that I rewrote it as 2 into x squared minus 2x minus 15. This is method 2. And now all I simply do is find my AC. My A is a 1 because it's the coefficient of x squared. My C is a negative 15. So using the AC method, AC is negative 15 because we have 1 times negative 15. B is negative 2. Step 3 now. We write down two numbers that when we multiply them together will give us our AC. And when we add them will give us our B. Minus 3 times 5 is minus 15. Minus 3 plus 5 is plus 2. But what is our B? Our B is minus 2. So we don't want a plus 2. That's not what we want. We want a minus 2. And the only way we can get that is when negative 5, so 3 minus 5, which will give us negative 2. Minus 15 times 1 is minus 15. But when you add 1 to negative 15, you get negative 14. We don't want negative 14. We don't want plus 2. We want minus 2 because AC is negative 15. And the two numbers that will multiply to give us negative 15 and add to give us negative 2 are 3 and minus 5. The next step is simply to write two brackets. One with the x minus 5, which is one of the numbers you found, and the other one with the x plus 3, which is the other bracket. Now it's 2 into x minus 5 and then x plus 3. If you wrote this as your answer, you get the point, okay? You get the credit for that. If you went on to write it the other way, so it's x plus 3, x minus 5, it's the same thing. If you wrote 2x plus 6, that's you take these two and you distribute, 2x plus 6 into x minus 5, you get it. Or if you write 2x minus 10 and into x plus 3, you get the answer. All of these are correct, okay? They're all equal to one another. This is one of the things we talked about when we talked about the properties of real numbers. Commutative property of multiplication, associative property of multiplication, and so on and so forth. That's where this comes into effect. So any questions from this question? Be specific with your questions. Is there any step that is confusing? Okay, we'll stop then. And we'll take a